I mean, wow. I don't know about you. I don't know if I've been up all night working on this for months, but that hit me. So I look at my friends here tonight, at all of you, at this incredible room, at these beautiful people. It's incredible how far we've come. I'm Michael Bretholtz. I'm very, very proud to be the president of Chabad Young Professionals Board. Chabad YP is a special community. This is a kibbutz that brings people from every background, souls from uptown and downtown, across the Hudson, the other river. Some people are observant, and some of us, maybe like me, they hated Hebrew school, they never would go to a synagogue. We come, we find a home in which we're learning, we're doing charity, we're building friends, we're growing. Chabad Young Professionals is a home away from home. It's hard to think, you look around tonight, you think this has been years in the making. For me personally, for CYP, and honestly, I think we all feel it, the entire Jewish community, tonight is a special and important moment for all of us. I'm looking and I see faces that have worked on this for years. For years. And of course, we're going to honor three people tonight, or four people really, four visionaries, sorry, whose examples, they inspire us. But more importantly, equally importantly, we are going to raise funds tonight to establish a permanent home for Chabad Young Professionals. So if you allow me, I'm going to share my own story about CYP. I've been lucky. I was here since the beginning, I think, maybe before the beginning. I met Peril and Levy in 2008 at the Yale Chabad Hanukkah party. Peril and Levy, they didn't have a family yet. Peril was, I think, pregnant with Musia. They came to New York, bright-eyed, and they were going to start a new community that didn't exist before for young people in their 20s and their 30s. People were starting their careers, building their friendships, building their families, and hopefully who were developing those core values that would guide them through their entire lives. December 2008 was not a normal time. We were facing a global financial crisis. So only two people like Levy and Peril would be like, oh, this is a good time to start a charity. Naturally. But it was Hanukkah also. It was a Hanukkah party. And like the Hanukkah miracle, CYP was blessed with a founding grant. It was just enough to get started. It wasn't enough to take us through. So I told Levy, Rabbi Levy, that Hanukkah was a perfect holiday to get started on Chabad Young Professionals. And it was a symbol of both the time that we were in and their mission. Even if you've just been to a little bit of Hebrew school or watched some TV, you'd know that in the Hanukkah story we had just enough oil for one night. But by a miracle, it would suffice. We would take a leap of faith and light the flame. And CYP would follow that very same path. If you look around, don't look at the center of the room, but look to the outskirts of the room, look at the balcony. In a community of young people, there's no obvious bench of donors you can look to who are going to support the place. We have to take a leap of faith. And so slowly, Levy, okay, if you know Levy, you know he is, this night is not normal for Levy. Raise your hand if you're involved in any way in planning tonight. Raise it a little higher. Mark, raise it higher. You did the whole thing. Okay, so this is not Levy's strength, but slowly, slowly we train Levy to gain a little bit of courage, because young people are enthusiastic, they want to be here, they're like into it, but they're not trained to give and to contribute, and like he had to do it. So he trained us and brought us together, and through that, and since then, out of their living room and out of borrowed spaces throughout the city, CYP has offered Shabbat and holiday meals and celebrations, classes, lectures, events, volunteering opportunities, and honestly, tens of thousands of people have come through our doors. They didn't find just a place, they found within themselves a spark. We've been the wandering generation. We didn't have a home. And yet, CYP became a spiritual and a social hub for all of us. It became our second home. So you might think, we're in New York. We don't need another Jewish space, right? But there's a thirst. If you ask anyone who's been involved here, there's a thirst for this kind of authentic connection. Ask anyone who's been involved. Before 2008, or after, if a community like CYP existed, we just have joined it. But it didn't exist, and so we joined in building it. And over the past 2 years in particular, our community, and I'm seeing faces here who've been involved, weekly calls, monthly calls, meetings. We showed up at Brad's office and the sushi didn't come. We gathered and we brainstormed and we planned, what are we going to do? How are we going to meet the needs of our growing community in this challenging time? To do more, we had to secure a permanent home. We needed the space. We couldn't wander any longer. And so, from within Chabad Young Professionals, we gathered our funds and we made space for a down payment. We did it. But tonight, we're taking the next step. Tonight, in this room, look around and look within. We are here to create a new home for Manhattan's young professionals. This is going to be a place where friendships are going to deepen, where Jewish identity is going to flourish, and a place from which the next generation of our leaders is going to come. We're also here to celebrate tonight and honor, of course, Adam Shapiro, Sean and Joanna Lonsdale. Sean and Leanna McGuire. I'm sorry. I was thinking like Mark McGuire, and like everything's getting messed up. I apologize. Sean and Leanna McGuire and Joe Lonsdale. That was almost like a scripted joke, but it wasn't. These are leaders who exemplify the spirit of CYP. Very sorry. So before the speech, of course, like all of you, we all know of their professional accomplishments. We're not talking about those tonight. Tonight, we're especially honoring their courage and their convictions. Adam, Sean and Leanna, and Joe, they've all recognized a vacuum of leadership. They recognize a vacuum of decency, and they recognize the vacuum of action. They have, and they continue to rise to the occasion. Tonight's about them, but it's also about us. Tonight is a call to action for each of us. It's a call to action to me, to my family. This is an opportunity for all of us to come together and to make real our goal. Now is our time to build, and this is our time. You can see on the screen the beautiful building. I'm going to put up the text to pledge information, hopefully. It'll come up eventually. So look, our capital campaign is for $10 million. If that sounds like a big number, it's because it is a big number. And for our community, that absolutely dwarfs anything we've done before. But I can tell you, it's also achievable. Look around the table, look at the people sitting with you, and look at within yourself. We can do this, and many times over. So, my wife Sarah is here, and I love Sarah. I must say, I might get into a bit of trouble tonight because Sarah runs a tight ship. And she's the kind of wife who doesn't allow the phone to be out at the dinner table. But tonight I'm going to make an exception. I'd like to invite everybody here to bring your phone out to the dinner table. But I'm also going to say it's only for this purpose. So I can see Sean, and I can see Joe. This is not to get on Twitter. Okay, this is only for charity, okay? So it's a limited dispensation. But we can do it. So on a personal level, I've been involved for 16 years. And for every one of these 16 years, I've been fortunate to have had the ability to give and to support this community. This is the time to stretch. And this is the room to stretch. And frankly, for this room, it's not even a stretch. But for our family, Sarah and I are stretching. And in honor of this occasion, in honor of this effort, we are pledging to make the biggest charitable contribution to any cause by far to date. I think everyone here should please join us. We won't be able to do it without you, but with you we can certainly do it and do much more. We need everybody here's help to make this possible. So you can see a very complicated 866-953-9885 number. Text that number and make a pledge. Commit yourself, whether it's for this year or many years, many years, whatever. On their table is a QR code. I don't know how to use a QR code. Or you can speak to me or speak to Peril Levy, or speak to anyone who's here who organized tonight's event. You know, one thing that, a challenge, we pull this event together in just a matter of months. It's hard to imagine. One thing we learned in running this event that it's also spring break. I think, Michelle, you complain, everyone's on spring break. No one can come. If you know someone who can't be here, but who should be here, if you know someone who wants to be part of this community, who wants to set the spark to create a dynamic community for people in New York, for the world, I'd like to ask you to please, after tonight, introduce us. You know, more importantly, however, if you know someone who's a young professional who should be part of our community, who's not part of our community, please introduce us. Everyone in this room, whether it's for $5 or $5 million, everyone in this room should please partner with us on this effort. Every noble act, whether it's a small act or a big act, is a bracha, it's a blessing. I want us all to build this thing together. And I wish upon us all that we may all be blessed by our good deeds. Thank you very much.